Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy P Funk. Thinking right out here in my lab, and I'm in the book. I got a nice lesson. I'm gonna wrap up chapter 2 for you with some more information on how to master your astral plane. Why? Because it's all mental. Let's talk about it. Rightism. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's always a message in my stories for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in to receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through a mental and spiritual discipline practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself, or we call it self-mastery. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? So let's get it together. I ask you the question, do you know you? Well, when I'm through, that's what I do for you. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself and two might not be true. All right, we're going to talk about wrapping up this chapter. It's all about meditation. And daily meditation is the way to master what we call the astral plane. Why? Because it's all mental. Meditation dealing with this thing here. So let's talk about. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is that all these studies, and I've been doing a lot of them, that you have done and are still doing. So you're saying if you're not uttering the chants 10,000 times the way it's explained and taught to do, instructed, or 500,000 times, even a million times, if you have not done the rituals that lasted for days. The Shriners, they do a 72-hour ritual. It lasts for a weekend, 3 days, different stages, different phases. Again, rituals that lasted for days and doing my studies and my own personal meditation that goes on for sometimes hours. I haven't got that good at months. No. But daily doing it, yeah. But the length that you take doing it, meditation, my guy I follow, Guru, he went into meditation for 13 days. Sometimes you can go for months, some even years. Guys have starved themselves to become one with God by just doing nothing and letting their body just wear out. So, but without doing all that, you will not attain that kind of psychic power. That takes time, hours. Like they say, repetition. So you see them monks walking around counting the bees. They're doing it for a reason. So that's their philosophy they follow and they practicing it. So we see them doing it and they crazy. No, they have a purpose and they're doing it what they do. Okay, they wear the orange with it, and everybody look at what you got on. I'm a slave because I got chains on my neck. I don't get that mindset, but I'm a teacher of a philosophy. What the hell? My chains got to do with that? So still can't get that out of my mind. But to retain or to understand how the mind works, you have to master it for yourself. It's a hell of a machine. It's a hell of a piece of machinery. But you have to master it. And it takes repetition and practice daily for years. Okay. But it is hard for you or anyone to get that level as it should be. It ain't for everybody. Right thing philosophy is like college education. Everybody don't want to go to the next level. So, okay, I get you. But yet you're doing a kind of ritual when every day anyway. As your ordinary human being, we have rituals. We follow, we get up and wash up, we get to go to job. That's a ritual. Every Sunday you go to church. That's a religious ritual. They go to church. Wednesday we have prayer line. So these are rituals that you can practice. But that keeps you tied to and caught up in what we call worldly concerns. You can be in the world, but not of it. I don't vote. I don't do none of that. Why? I think I don't make a difference in that. So I can do is live my life and get what I could out of here and do my best. That's it. I ain't got no problem with that. What they do don't bother me. What I do don't bother them. So we good. But so you personally should be able to do enough, aka by what? Sheedy. That means studying. Spiritual discipline. If you want to become spiritual enlightened, these are the things that you got to practice. That's what we're telling you. You have to put the time in. And it's going to take years. Okay. And your spiritual discipline of what? The Kemetic rituals. In order for you to break the hold of your worldly rituals. I have a personal ritual I do every morning. I've been doing it now for the last 15 years. That's a ritual. That's what I do. It ain't nobody's business. It ain't nobody's concern. Okay, it's personal. But that's what I do. But the worldly rituals are the habits and bad habits that you will indulge in that gets you more deeply what? Entangled and involved with what? Worldly concerns and less concerned with your spiritual growth or your spiritual things. Why? It ain't material. Remember, a lot of us want stuff. They want to see it, taste it. They need the senses, so they use the physical body. Mental control is being able to think and feel. That's heart mind coherence. That's where God dwells, not in the physical world. Okay? But when you, okay, perfect example. When you're not doing what you're supposed to do, now you will indulge in that gets you more involved in the worldly decisions, worldly endeavors, and less with your spiritual matters. All right, meaning yourself. Spirit is personal. If you concerned about everything else except that, knowing, get information out of everything except yourself, you pay for it. So when you're watching television, telling lies to your vision, you are now filling yourself with a bunch of nonsense and ideas and negative energies, and you reinforcing these from what? Day to day. We all grew up watching TV. So we all victim of that. But if you're watching some X-rated, and right now porn is the most watched thing on the internet. What the hell? We just some horny people. That's not a good look. People, come on now. Jesus Christ. You are aligning yourself up with what? Lust and negative ideas, and lustful energy is being exerted forcefully. Y'all masturbating, y'all having this unconsensual, just sex, just going crazy, taking pills, penis being hard for hours. What the hell is going on? What the hell? That's all I can say about that. I'm so oblivious to that nonsense. I see it, but I'm not part of none of that. What the hell? Those who are being drawn to you, if you're a porn freak, you're going to attract other porn freaks. So birds of a feather. I'm the falcon. I'm like the eagle. I fly alone. I'm on solo. I don't know pigeons and other people fly in groups. Swallows and all them birds. I don't do none of that. Okay, I fly by myself. I'm a bird of prey. All right, but again, you're going to exuberate that aspect, and you're going to be around people, and that's your personality. Horny all the time, looking, and like attracts like, and bad attracts bad. Horny attracts horny. So if you want to be wise, nobody wants that. Nobody hang out with me. Nobody want to be bothered with me. They want to hear that I'm talking. But yet they respect how I do and what I do. Okay, I'm good with that. Fine with that. But again, because I practice what I teach, I'm not the ordinary dude. I'm not one you run. No, no, no. I'm a different breed. And like I said, my favorite goddess, now you are to spend your time with her. Why? Becoming like her. And you be her, you attract her energy. People who are what? In the same mode. When they are guided, you will impel. It will impel you what? And it will push you even further to what? Be your best self. Why? It works. The other way also, okay, for negativity, again, balance, like I showed you, you can't have one without the other way. There's two ways to do anything, the right and the wrong. That's it. That's it. So for the negative energy, the porn watchers, You personal selfish gratification people, y'all ill well. Okay, y'all ill is what? Selfish pleasures. And that will what? That will not lead you to positive energy. No, it's a negative aspect. Ain't nothing positive, ain't nothing good about doing bad things. But we tend to believe so. But this is why my right thinking philosophy teaches and the teachings that I got from the temples of I said what I learned. This contains the following injunction. Pay attention because this is going to be some good information coming at you. This knowledge the goddess invests us to seek after as being near and dwelling continually with her. I think, eat, sleep, and drink my yacht. Why? It keeps me balanced. It keeps me whole accountable to doing what I need to be doing for myself. That's if the religion you follow or whatever you follow, philosophy, if the principles that you set up, you don't follow them, why are you following it? I follow mine to the letter. I don't deviate. I don't cross heads. My pastor in that book, he do the same thing. So I can respect you if that's what you do. If not, I ain't got to respect you because that's what I do. So I hold myself accountable too. And if you elevate yourself through virtue and righteous living and daily, here we go, meditation. I got to keep, I did a whole book of meditation. Y'all didn't really gravitate to that. Why? Because it was a little too advanced for you with the mind concepts. So y'all really didn't take to that. But if you're not meditating, you're not communing with God. If you think praying is getting you to God, no. Prayer without works. Okay? Works is meditating and find out who you're talking to and what's going on the higher level. Okay? Ego says, I'm just going to pray and hope for the best. I'm not going to do nothing. I'm just going to pray. Don't work that way. Even the Christians say that. So I already know different. My philosophy says you got to put the work in. Earn the blessing. I don't just bless you because you're a Christian or a Muslim. Don't work that way. Good people earn blessings. What was that? I lost my spot. Oh yeah, we got the guesses of that. So now, if you elevating yourself is becoming more conscious, more spiritually involved, more thinking. Right thinking leads to right action, so you're gonna start doing things better. So if you elevate yourself through the daily righteous, virtuous living, through again daily, I love to meditate. It clears out the old stuff and makes a new day more new, more fun, and to the state above your waking state. I'm conscious when I woke, but that meditation state, I love that. Why? Now you have elevated yourself to what they call the astral plane. Most people go there in their dream state when they sleep. Meditation takes you out while you are awake. Watch this, pay attention. And there are to remain awake and aware, mindfulness, okay? It is important for you to remain aware at what? All times. Be aware at all times and not just to enter the astral plane when you go to sleep and have experiences, whatever happens, because that would change the experience from a vision that's opposite of your dream where one remains aware. And you do that when you're dreaming. It's called lucid dreaming. I'm totally aware. When I go to sleep, I'm in a dream. Okay? That's high level thinking, consciousness. But it is a dream world. Even though we woke, this still is the dream world to some people in the Aborigines and Native Americans say, this is the dream world. Why? This is an illusion. This is all BS. The real one, when we go into ourselves, that's the real world. So I can't argue the point because I love to be in a meditative state of mind. I live in a meditative state of mind, meaning I'm conscious of what I'm doing. I'm holding myself accountable to follow the disciplines, hold myself accountable to do what's right. And when your dream world and one does not get caught up in whatever happens, and actually now one can even control the dream world. I just told you, being lucid, and you can shape it according to your will. That's power. That's the power that we have. That's the power that we actually have. How many of us use it? And watch this. In other words, one is the controller. In your mind, in your dream, you are in control of everything. Sustainer, destroyer, in essence, all encompassing. That's you. You become the divinity that we call what? The virtue, the absolute, the master of all things. That's how we made in God's likeness. We had the same power. And to a dream, and you're not aware of being in the dream world, as aka the astral plane, that means you're not mentally conscious. You're not coherent enough to be at that next level. You're still on the lower level, so to speak. The ego level. The ego don't know high state of consciousness. Mm-hmm. They'll do what? Ignorance of oneself. And now you lose what? Higher awareness, because the ego thinks it's all about him and not above him. He's the most high on his throne, the ego. That's your human self. He gets out the way. When death comes, he bail out. Did you know that? That's why all the tough guys, when it's time to face their sentence, they all bail out. They all bitch up. Moving on. But being aware that one falls from what? Master to servant. Because of your ignorance, you not the master of you. You the servant of your ego self. That's what they're telling you. Okay? And you go from servant to slave. Now you done lost in the sauce. And you off into the illusion that's created by what? Your own ignorant mind. You live off of fears. You create desires. You are weak to the addictions, and you go through the illusions of life. And you wonder why you're not prospering, doing things better or getting better in your life. And this is not to be allowed. Why? Because with discipline of your mysteries is designed to stop and reverse to prevent the whole idea of ignorance and doing harm to oneself. Remember, the ego is a man with a hatchet to his head. And the greatest prevention of ignorance is enlightenment and consciousness. The devil is darkness and ignorance. God is light and consciousness. How about that? It's right there. That's what it's all about. You can be a slave to your ignorant self, or master and become God and run the whole thing like it's supposed to. Become the Nabercha, all-encompassing one who knows all. And for when you design, what's this? And for when a design to stop and reverse whoa, I went the wrong way. Okay. So the greatest prevention of ignorance is enlightened consciousness. So for when the dark room, darkness, again, we start out in the darkness. The noon is dark. Apophis wants everything dark. But in the dark room, and once it's lit with a light, now you have what? No place for the darkness, the delusion, the ignorance to remain. Hello, you got to go. Belief system. You can believe something, and that's fine. You in the dark. But when you know something, when gnosis hit, the belief got to go. Why? He's just a little bit. Okay? Knowledge is all. And when the lights come on in your mind, a little or illuminant part of the room, there always seems to be some other unknown lurking in the darkness. But again, that's the hit of ego ignorance. But it says here, in that room, which is your mind, watch this, there is only what you have put there. When Luke went into the cave to meet his other half, his dark side, he grabbed his what? Belt, his weapon. Yoda said, you won't need that. He said, but what you bring, you're going to have to use. If you came in peace, you'd have been dealt with in peace. When you come looking for trouble, you're going to find it. That's the concept. And which turns out to be what? Nothing. Why? Because when you shine the light of wisdom and intellect from yourself, now the third eye, that's what you're doing. And then your spirit, the Ak, is on. Why? So if you remain awoke, conscious, mindful, and you have purified and fearless, you become purified and fearless. No fear. Okay? Goliath don't mean a damn thing to me. I'll slay the hell out of him. Okay? No fear. Why? Because now you have a direct contact with the presiding deities of the cosmic forces, aka God. You can converse with them. My pastor called it download. When he communicated with God, he calls it getting his information downloaded directly. That's the concept. I use the more approach, ancient side. I'm meditating. When I meditate, I free my mind to let God, what? Download information. Same concept. I just say it different, present it different. Why? I talk to God every day and have been for the last 15 years. Now, he been downloading information from God for the last 50. He got what he got. I got what I got. We both got the same thing. That's the point. And we always say, iron sharpens iron. If I'm iron and you're not, I can't help you. Why? I'm going to break you up. Why? Because you can't stand the pressure. I'm going to put you under. So if you're iron, iron is sharpen you. If not, you better leave iron alone. All right, let me wrap this up. So if they feel, the gods, that you are worthy, because again, they have to see your heart and know the intention. So they see you worthy. What? Now they will give you what? Some instruction directly. Obviously, I'm getting touchy. They saw him at 15. And they've been looking out for him ever since. All right. Directly. He says they directly download the information. And this is why a popular practice by ordinary people in the ancient Egyptian time was in touch with God, their higher self. They knew that. Everybody knew that. They wasn't ignorant to that. Just like today, not having a cell phone. Everybody got one. Not having a computer. Everybody got one. Back then, not having knowledge of self. Everybody had it. Excuse me. See, in ancient Egypt, that knowing thyself was as common as today's modern technology that we can't do without television, stuff like that. Nobody was ignorant. Okay, why? That was a way of life. So there was even a daily practice. What's this? They were so in tune with their God, high God. They would sleep in the temples, sleep in the church. Why? They'd be close to God. Okay, so as to what? Provoke a meeting with the divine in their minds of that temple. And in your astral, your mental dream world, that's where God dwells. Why? Because you can communicate with him instantly, right then and there. In the physical world, we got to go through the process. But in the astral world, everything is instantaneous. And the world plane, of course, it was then and now recognized that the astral plane, the mental world, is the next plane other than the physical world existence after the physical life in the physical plane. But you should not neglect right living or wisdom gaining it, aka by the sages. I'm here every day giving you the information that I live by. Who can be what? A conduit for the Netarian inspirations. And just like a jazz musician who can play jazz and without thinking about it and improv, ad lib, y'all call it freestyle. Same thing. Creative on the spot. That's all you got to be able to do. And when you're doing that, that's what they want you to do. From here, just bring it. Your intention should be pure. And where does the music come from? Like the sage and saints can also be like that with their teaching and they understand it and their concepts of God as they speak and teach. My pastor, I love him. Why? Because he lived what he preached. I know I live what I teach. So in respect, anybody who's not doing that, I can't hold you in high respect. Simple as that. So the word that you say, again, if what they say don't match what they do, don't trust them. And the words are coming out, what? That they did not plan. It's spontaneous. If you ask me a question, I will answer it from what my knowledge, my understanding. I don't have to get in a book to ask no questions. I use the book to teach from. And they did not plan what the answer. They gonna say what it is. My pastor, he get in there, he switches on to what? God mode. He downloading, he giving information that God's giving to him. I understand that. When I did my hour-long show back in the day, I would at 11:59, I would leave and let my higher self step in. P-Funk, when I did the radio station, P-Funk with my alter ego. That's the one who was doing all the teaching, all the talking. I knew that. So I gave way to him. And then at 1 o'clock, stepped in 12 o'clock, 12:01, I'm back. Why? I let him do his thing. That's why. It's the concept. And where did those words and where does this knowledge come from? I know. But this is similar in a way, but not the same as the concept behind channeling. I don't claim to talk to the dead people. I don't claim, no, I don't do that. No, I'm a teacher, a philosopher. I learn and I give my perspective, my opinion, and my observation, what I know and understand. That's it. I don't have to know what I'm doing that. Moving on. Okay. But so in a sense, but from a higher perspective, your spirituality, the spiritually developed person who understands, knows himself, is one who has what? Who is connected to their higher principles, aka self, mayat for me, and become one with those. My pastor uses Christ. I use mayat. We both got to God with a philosophy, a dogma that works for us by practicing it respectfully. On an even higher level, now the sage is connected to what? The source, the transcendental origin, the God of all things that's behind what we call the Ben, the first mountain coming up. All right, that God made present to stand on. But to the transcendental being of being one, remember, it's all about becoming one with the one. That is different than channeling. Thank you. Channeling is what? Like you are an individual, a medium. You are like a cellular phone repeater station where you have the cellular phone and the cellular phone signal goes to the antenna, which is in your mind. That's the antenna that boosts and sends it to another antenna and another and another. We get that. And it gets to the person where the call is going to. Modern technology. All right. But at one time, we could communicate telepathically. That's why I talk to God telepathically. I don't verbally talk when I pray. Don't say a word. It's all internal. So you'll never hear me pray. I pray all day. Okay. I'm a prayer warrior. But watch this, a sage is not just a repeater, but he's one with the source. I tell you, I don't believe in God. I know God. Okay, I know God. So the words that I speak, such one are to be what? Treated like the source, like the words from God. What come out my mouth is the words of God. Medjunetta, I'm speaking Makadu from the heart. I'm speaking pure. And as if what? The divine itself were doing the speaking directly. We representing God. We the middleman. My pastor said, you evangelist. Why? You got one hand with God, the other hand with the people trying to help them to God. Yeah, I like that idea. So call me evangelist. I'm the middleman. I know God. I know you. So how about this? If you don't know God, follow me. I do. Simple. That's all. And if you already know God, we got a problem. Why? I know the same thing you know. You know the same thing I know. What? God. Oh, Lord. I got one more. I'm not done yet. I need to tell you. When I'm here, I lose track of time, so bear with me. But this is all information that you can use. It's all in the reference of time, of teaching. So when you develop fully, meaning you reach self-mastery, that means you have tapped in directly. In other words, you and God have become one. Christ told you the same thing. These are concepts that you can manifest for yourself, and you can say, I'm earnest. Me and God are one. Can you say that in earnest? Some of y'all faking it. Yeah, I know God. I believe in God. Yeah. That's BS. I ain't got time for y'all. Okay, I ain't trying to convince y'all or try to hear your nonsense. There are two ways to do anything. Some physics, they can be very sensitive to things, and they, excuse me, psychics, excuse me, I messed that all up. Psychics can be very sensitive to things. Okay, they feel it's okay, and they can even open to certain things. But you can tell that they are not wise people. Again, your discernment. When you sense something is a myth, you use it right. That's your discernment. A lot of people don't listen to it. I do. And they are not enlightened people. They what? They just have psychic powers. They can come up and conjure up clairvoyance and stuff like that, see visions or whatever, but they're not enlightened or intelligent people, wise people. They are susceptible to what? Human error and failings of what? The ego. One's ego. They are being given the information from where? As it were, but since they have not had a philosophical training, any philosophical training, no teacher, and that's like a guy want to be a preacher, don't go to no seminary school, don't know nothing about the Bible, but he want to preach the Bible. I'm a preacher, I can preach. Because you read the book and you can explain it and break it down, that don't make you a preacher. Moving on. Some of the guys who claim a preacher can't do that, but they still preach. Why? They went to class and got certificates so that they could. That's all. And have not developed what? Their level of philosophical mind, meaning they have high level understanding. They don't. They really low level, okay? And they are not, first of all, right here, if you're not living, practicing what you teach or preach, you got no kick coming from me. And those people do not live or express what they practice, or what they teach and what they say. Like my man, I call him fraud. TD Jakes, fraud. That you do, you put on a good show. But behind the scenes, the truth came out. The dirt come out in the wash, simple as that. And anything that's done in the dark, we bring it to light. And you swore up and down. Come on, dog. Be better. Moving on. Wish you the best of luck. But they are not, those kind of people, frauds, are not being the source. They're not connected for it, finding what? The source for it's within themselves. And they ain't looking for source. They're looking for what? Selfish gains, pleasures. And they are still operating on the ego instead of the higher self. If you do this, teach or preach for money, you ain't doing it for the right reason. So, and also, wrap it up. So this concept, the concept of the principles, aka the karmic forces by the netter and the netteru, this is the preceding teachings. This is what all of the rituals are truly about, to get you to have a mindset to be connected with God by any means necessary, and there's a bunch of them. So that is what all the right thinking and the Kemetic Netterian writings are about. It says, ancient Egyptian proverb. I got another one for you. Gods are immortal men. Men are mortal gods. If you are ignorant, you're mortal. If you're enlightened, you're immortal. See the difference? So this discipline, as we speak, is embodied in words that have been given and been described from the Kemetic philosophy and have been practiced of spiritual discipline for decades. And that all leads to what? Enlightenment, aka self-mastery, or of the theurgy, the concepts of God, or sacred science. Again, when your heart conscious is spelled CONSCIENCE, is a science that's been proven by our ancients, okay? And the art of learning and being able to manipulate controlling the cosmic forces for the good in all humans. And this is why human beings can be greater than the cosmic forces. Why? Because they can control the cosmic force and exist on all planes. Hermes Trismegistus, he's great on 3 levels: the conscious level, the unconscious, and the subconscious level. That's just you being in control of you at every level. Okay? Hence, thrice great. And it symbolizes by who? By Haru. At the bottom of the cosmic mythograph. Okay, right. At the bottom, this guy called Haru Earth. This is him. This is you when you become knowledge of yourself. You see, he on the throne, he's king. See, he got all the regalia. He got everything that you need, okay? You was inherited with that. All you got to do is figure it out. Become the hero in your own life. Save yourself so you become your savior. Watch this. And that's what's given all of us the ability, the potential to do just that. That's what we come here for. And it says, where we at? Somebody heard at the bottom. And Ra is at the top. Him being connected to Ra is a direct connection. Your father is Ra. You connected to him. And I asked, if I'm going to do this job for you, Lord, why I had to go through all that stuff? That's how you got the job, okay? You passed the audition in life. That's the concept, all right? So it's on the physical human beings and as divinities through the development of your subtle aspects, knowing your personal characteristics and their spiritual personalities, all the God and goddesses that dwell within you. A human being who is a sage or saint, me and my pastor, in a sense, have higher than God's or higher than God and God. Why? Because we can help you physically. We can help you mentally, spiritually. The gods and goddesses rule in the netherworld and they manage creation for the supreme being. They're there just to be doing what they do, to be used by you and mastered. And so that they have what emanations that do work. Subtle energies that course through the universe is the same thing that goes through us. And where we at, and these emanations can be manipulated. They say we can manipulate time, but it can be harnessed by mortal men and women to also do certain work. Again, like creative, positive vibrations to facilitate a program influencing others, like being a preacher, having a church, just run the church, or having a spiritual philosophy that people tune in every day and listen and gather around. But they also change moods, and engendering peaceful conditions. But most importantly, they create the energy of force of what? Sa. Sa means understanding, aka complete understanding, having knowledge of what it is that's being presented to you, your comprehension, and having knowledge and obtaining information. That does not mean having understanding. Understanding is important when you're studying the mystical philosophy, practicing right thinking philosophy or Maya, and that is a certain form of energy, of forces that allow you to aspirate to really overcome all obstacles that's in your path in life, like the lack of will to spend time reading and meditating or putting down your ego self so that your intellect may have a chance to work out your life mysteries for you, not outside of you. The applications of the tree of life, learning the disciplines and learning and mastering the disciplines for your spiritual evolution may be thought of as a scientific process. Science means you practice it, you proved it, you came to a conclusion. And it says here, men and women are to become godlike. How? Through a life of righteousness and virtue and the cultivation of the spirit through scientific knowledge, practice, and bodily discipline. Daily workout, daily prayer, meditation, and righteous living do just fine. Excuse me. So, knowledge, again, self-knowledge is far different from senses. Knowledge is internal. Senses is physical, external in the body. So for senses is brought about by which have hath the mastery over us. While knowledge, the physical body controls the information signal to the brain. But knowledge is the end of scientific proof, and science is the gift from God. To what? All science is incorporeal, and that's the instrument it uses by what? The mind. This thing here, mental, just as the mind employs the body. As above, so below. This controls this. Wrap it up, that's an ancient Egyptian proverb, and it says here, this is what you need to understand. If mortal men and women can learn to discover their own divinity within themselves, this means that the rule of the lower planes, the physical plane, the ego self of matter, physically, the physicality, and your mental instinct, in a sense, that is what it means to become what? Haru gaining knowledge of self. And right there, Haru the great. Muhammad Ali reached greatness by what? Finding out the greatest love inside himself. So, and also this is what it means to be Pharaoh. I don't know about Pharaoh. I know about Muhammad Ali. Okay, so I can equate that with him in my lifetime. But the pharaohs, the kings and queens, that they presided over the world. Now, in the meantime, you yourself individually are a prince or princess of what? The throne of your own potential. You are aspiring, we call them aspirants for a reason. You are aspiring to hold that position that's rightfully yours. But you have to discover your higher planes of existence. So that also which rules the higher planes as well. But the plane of intellect, self-knowledge, and your astral existence, which is all mental. In the upcoming class, we will study more about Haru, the spirit that's in me and you, who is the king of the world, and how to become king or queen of your world. This concludes the lesson. How about that? I finally made it. I know it took a little while. Oh man, 40 minutes. But that's the best 40 minutes you can ever get. Trust me on that one. If you use it, it'll work. And in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100. Me, 100 miles a day. So I'm none of my right thinkers who now learn the mastery of the astral plane, knowing that it's all mental, have passed away. I'll be right back.